A year in solitude can drive any man mad. And sometimes the only way to rekindle social activity and awareness is to go out into the mountains, away from the cabin, and fist fight a mountain lion. On another exciting episode of the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast.
Wait, Governor,
Know that I'm coming correct.
let me talk to you guys about something that you can do both drunk and high that is extremely pleasant.
I think our podcast needs a budget for guns.
Cowboy Rowdy. Well, shoot, dang. Crack a cold one, baby. What is it with this fucking podcast?
It's me, your host, KMBZ Barry, and joining us as always, studio engineer and enigmatic personality, Sebastian McCabe.
That's me. I'm an enigma now, huh? That's I've always wanted to graduate to that level, and I'm so happy I could finally ascend. Thank you, Cameron.
You had to miss
do
like
kinda
50 episodes, but you did it, and it worked.
So you do kind of have the look of Jim Carrey in Batman Forever when he plays Edward Nygma. Like you do kind of look like him.
I never thought about that, but he super does. That makes that
Caffeine will kill you. Fucking love that movie,
I
dude.
never made that connection, but that's perfect. Oh, for the rest of the freaking episode, I'll be staring at Sebastian's face now and seeing Jim Carrey pop up. Oh my gosh! Also joining us, as you can hear, famous Monterey Bay comic and show producer Michael Booth.
What's up? How's it going?
Very good. Thanks for making it. It was a good team. We missed Anthony this morning. He stayed up too late on Grindr again and can't make it to the recording. So we got without him.
I wish him luck.
He's just trading one good time for another, and I keep telling
Was he
him, but
responding to
won't listen.
messages or was he just swiping? What was he doing?
Only on Grindr. I tried to text him and answer him on Grindr. I was like, I know you're up. And he was like, okay, whatever. So-
I know you're up.
Hey, while we're up, we're talking
Hell,
about such vile issues and such things like this as dating during a quarantine to the wee hours of the night.
dude.
Can I
Man.
just bring up one of the number one songs trending right now is WAP. It's been talked about by everybody. I don't want to necessarily talk about WAP. I'm just offended.
Wow.
That's so.
I'm just offended that Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion
The Stallion.
made WAP before any guy made WAD.
It's true, right? Like you'd think.
It's the funnier
What-
anagram.
what-
Where's Little Dicky on this shit? Like, it
Where-
was so
like,
new,
that-
so long
Isn't
before.
that what my pony is?
Ooh, that's true. That's
It's missing
It's
the
close.
acronym.
It's like a
On it.
prototype.
Missing the acronym. The acronym is the real
exactly.
catch.
Got it. I don't know, bro.
He needs to throw like some talk about moisture and a lot more D reference, and he could pull it off. But it's so vague; it's not on there. All the with nuance of what do they call them when something's like related to a dirty term, euphemism. All the nuance of euphemism is gone with WAP. Like there's one very slight one, but you get 2 seconds into the video. You look at the thumbnail for 2 seconds, and boom, you get it.
Right.
Like you know what it's
and you're
about.
Like, you know exactly.
You figure out what
it
WAP
is.
means immediately. And so, like, the fact that no guy ever tried WAD.
Right, and you'd think they would have been first, right? Because what do dudes love doing? Talking about their dicks, right?
Actually, I guess
Like-
they made like 10 billion versions of WAD, and it's called the porn industry. So maybe
true.
maybe it did get beat to the punch.
I don't know why. Also, you'd want to talk about your dick being so wet. It's a wet ass dick. Like,
Look,
wouldn't you
if
want
your
it to
dick
be
is that
like-
wet, you got to talk to somebody about it. Probably a doctor
Yeah,
first,
I don't-
but get the news out.
Hey, aren't
Like,
you supposed to
needs
keep it
do
dry?
something.
Like, yeah, you got to keep it dry.
Well,
down
dry
there,
dick's not
man.
good either, though, if I'm being honest. You don't
I
want
mean,
it too
I'm just
dry.
saying. I'm just saying.
Dicks
like,
are
you
very
wanna make-
sensitive. This is why we got to talk about
Moisture's-
this. What is the
moisture's
exact
not
temperament?
good.
Can I just say, I feel like it's one of the most poorly designed body parts
Yeah,
of any animal.
yeah. Dick
like,
humidity
okay.
is never right.
Right, like why are you gonna put this vital equipment
Yeah, I need a two-way
Hey,
humidifier to put in my
this-
crotch, bro.
fragile?
Trying to
Gotta keep
deionize
it
my
fresh.
balls, dude. What's up?
Yeah, I need a Boveda for my balls.
That's
Like,
the new
why would you-
Manscaped invention. It's a ball deionizer.
Ball Veda. Yeah.
Just set it in your underwear for 10 minutes. Your balls are ionized free, bud.
Oh, jeez, dude.
I just don't understand why all of this vital and delicate equipment is exposed and not like armored or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think our balls, they regulate our temperature, no? Like, that's part
No,
of the function?
it's that their temperature has to be like 1 degree lower.
They
than
react to
regular
the
body
temperature.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, bad job, God, you fucking idiot. Like, why would you put this shit on the outside?
Can you imagine if your face did that? If it got hot and your cheeks were just like, brrr, start sagging down below your chin? It'd be so hard to date during summer. Summer would not be fun. There would never be no, like,
Cold your
fun
face.
girl
Everybody
summer.
looks like a zombie. You're
It'd be like
hey, what's
busted
up?
ass chick summer. Every summer. Every
Busted
summer.
ass cheeks.
Every summer, dude. I'm so glad nothing else is like
That's the new song, dude. It's just back. Busted ass cheeks.
I'm trying to talk to the real girls, the girls stripping in the weekday clubs. I want to know what that's like. Oh my gosh. Notice I said weekday, not night. I just want to establish. I'm not trying to make everyone my enemy. It's a very specific group.
WAP is a banger, though, dude. I've listened to it a handful of times now.
The song
it's
doesn't.
pretty
The
good.
song doesn't get me that much. I've listened to it once or twice.
It's just I like the beat.
The beat is
I
dope.
don't know.
The beat is dope. That's the thing. All these songs that come out
catchy.
now, the beat is always dope. There's so many dope beats out there. If someone dares put out a song without a dope beat, they're forever burned, like away from.
When I watched the video, I was waiting for Kylie Jenner to like start rapping. I got really excited.
you thought she was
and
gonna
then
rap,
nothing
and that made
happened.
you excited.
Yes.
Your standards. So you don't listen to a lot of Nas or like Kendrick Lamar. You don't listen
I
to good
do,
rap
but
songs.
hold on. I listen
Okay.
to rap. Hold on. Don't get fucking all jeez.
You wanted
when
to
you
hear-
see somebody
Taking his mic.
when you see a billionaire in a music video, you're like, okay, they're gonna do something cool, probably, not just be in the video. I don't know. That's
Opening
my
a
point.
door.
Like,
What if she opens up her
I
own
was
door
like,
line?
I thought she was gonna.
She's like,
I thought she was gonna start
"There's only
rapping or
one way to
singing
live
or
like a
something. I don't know.
Kardashian." Opening Kardashian doors. Or Jenner or whatever. I don't know. Maybe make a door that changes genders. Like, I don't know. Get the whole family involved. We're back in comedy. Do we have segments? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, let's get into it, dude.
I swear to God, we wrote some shit down to say. Okay, let's get into this. We actually had a wholesome thing, and I didn't mean to just derail and talk bad about billionaires. Like, they're people too, but there's other things we can talk about that are more positive. And we thought of the best one. It almost like it reminds me of like a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood style like thing you'd see, but it's something you can really reflect on. What is some of the best lessons you've learned from or at a tree?
Oh, a tree.
Yeah.
Trees.
I think I got one for this. Michael, do you
Any
got
tree.
one?
Yeah.
Any
I
tree
will.
except birch.
I actually had an experience with a friend. I was this friend's spiritual guide, as you call it. That is where
You
that is where
had
you're
the
sober
drugs.
and your friend is
Oh.
on psychedelics.
gotcha.
Yes. So the friend, I'm not gonna name who it is, but they're on LSD, acid. They were doing. And they wanted me to hang out with them that day, and I just made sure that they were okay, that they didn't do anything crazy.
And real quick, we will say the name on Patreon. Go ahead.
But anyway, there's this one tree in the middle of this pasture next to our place, and we're outside, and he looks up and looks at me and looks over, and I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And he's like, "That tree, bro." He was like drawn to it, you know, like it was just the only tree in the field, and we had to go over there. So I walk with my friend over to the tree, and he puts his hand on the tree, and it's like, I think it's fall winter time. There's no leaves on the tree. It's
Okay, so it's kind of ominous.
it's
sight.
kind of gray and dark outside. The grass is
Yeah,
dead.
yeah,
It's kind of
forgive
just
me.
like
He jerked you off behind the tree, didn't he?
puts his hand on the
Oh,
tree
no, okay.
and then looks at me, and he's on acid, so I have to I'm like, I start thinking like, yo, what's the tree saying to you, dude? I
Yeah.
gotta start asking him. I want to get like the
Get into his world.
and he
Yeah.
yeah he puts his hand on and it got so real, like I didn't expect him to go this way. He put his hand on the tree and he looked at me and he's like, the tree's saying that it's really cold and it's really hard for him right now to live because he has no leaves, and like there's not a lot of water. And I just was like, yo, is this for a second I was like, is that really what the tree is saying?
He got you. He's what we call the
For
Charles
like a split
Manson
second.
type on acid.
'Cause I was
That's
smoking some.
scary.
I was smoking some weed too, so I was kind of a little stoned. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, is that really what the tree is saying to you right now?" And he's
That
like,
sounds real, dog.
"Yeah, man, this tree just like it's been here for a while. You know, this is nothing new for." And it was, yeah, it got way too intense. I didn't think it was. I thought that he was gonna tell me like the tree is just trying to.
What if it got like really
wants to-
personal? He's like, the tree's depressed because his parents are getting split up. You're like, oh, shit.
Like where his parents are, like they're on the hillside.
Yeah. Parents said he doesn't
Managed
think
to
his
make it down
dad's
to
coming
this
back
pasture.
after all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit.
His parents told him to flee to the pasture for better life, and he's just in the pasture by himself. Like, I should have been on the hillside with my parents. This sucks.
The tree regrets not finishing his bachelor. this is awesome. That would have been heck of fun.
God.
Yeah.
I would have
tree's
asked the
studying
tree what its
geology.
debit number was. I was like, yeah, hook it up. Tell the tree it's okay.
It's the last four of your social
What are we
Get
trees.
some
doing now?
socials.
Mastercard?
What's that mother's maiden name again, tree? While we're at it.
Where'd you go to elementary school?
Yeah.
There's a lot of great information
That's my
about
tree
trees.
story, though.
That's a good
I
one.
just, yeah.
You
It was
learned a lot
interesting.
about how susceptible people on acid are and how susceptible you are to people on acid. This is a
Yes.
lot of important, like, red flag areas for you for the future, for
100%.
like all kinds of things. Cults, Ponzi schemes. You were building up tolerance. And you were doing it in a safe setting of like.
That is what the tree
this
taught me, dude.
Yeah, yeah. The tree gave you a safe net to follow to see how gullible you are. It's like, see, child, you're kind of dumb. You gotta be careful. Not everybody's a harmless tree. And you're like,
I see. I see.
And your
tree,
friend
I
learned
see.
he's not good on acid. He's gotta watch that shit.
Got too real.
Yeah, way too real, dog. He's
Like
not
you
one of those
said.
guys who pitches a no hitter on acid. Okay, that's not his type. Bang, 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 bang. I
If by no hitter you mean he can't figure out how to manage to hit the pipe for like 12 hours, then yeah, he definitely.
that can be a good thing. That's like a self-defense mechanism sometimes. Like, you're so jacked up you can't hit a pipe. You're like, your body's like, nah, he's right. I got some of the motor function still, bitch. We ain't going nowhere near the mouth. He's like,
I'm cutting you off.
you can't get the lighter to it. He's like, I still got this hand. You can't stop me. Your body's doing anything to keep you in check. Oh, man. I learned some important lessons about trees. Can I paint you a little setting before we go? Mine's not so ominous. Mine's actually a little more lighthearted at the start. And it's kind of a short one.
Yeah,
but,
paint a word picture, man.
yeah, here's a word picture. So I grew up in like the equivalent of a modern day hobbit village. So my dad's 5'6", my mom's 5'3". Me and all my siblings are pretty much that or below, and my sisters are pretty small. And so growing up, we had this like small house, but we were small people, so like, it was okay. We didn't notice, and we had these little tiny trees outside. And I didn't notice they were tiny trees at the time, but you guys are familiar with orange trees or tangerine trees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the branches start out really short, like 2 or 3 feet up. You're getting branches already, big branches, thick branches. It's like bush tree. It's really short a lot of the times. So we had a couple of those, 3 of those in our house, and we'd climb them all the time. And it was fun. And they were small and easy to climb, lots of branches, really safe. And it was just we'd have a blast. We'd pick oranges, throw them at each other and stuff. It was great. So I always associated, because those are all the trees I encountered, that trees were safe, easy to climb in, fun, and once you climb them, it's a good time every time. And
Absolutely.
so I go to my grandparents' house at like 8 or so, and I'm like, they have a tree, sick, let's get to business. I know how this goes. And I notice right away it's hard to climb. It's not like an orange tree where you can just grab a branch. I have to like grab the trunk and try and like shimmy up to the first branch. So I'm doing this, like, man, this is kind of hard. And I forget what type of tree it is, but it's got the bark that's like thin and strong, like kind of like not spiky, but like really sturdy, and a lot of thin strips of it constantly all the way around. And so I'm like grabbing up, easy to grab. It's not breaking off or anything. I'm grabbing up. I get to the first branch. I'm like, holy crap, this is a big branch. I remember like how hard it was to try and get my body up over onto the branch. But then once I got on it, I was like, I could build a fort up here. This is huge. But then I looked down and I was like, I've never been this high in a tree before. And I'm on the very first branch. Like very first branch, and I'm just like, holy crap. And so immediately I'm like, I don't like this tree. This is a bad tree. I gotta get out of this thing. And I start to like try and find a way down, but I'm like getting really scared. So I just call for my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm in a tree. I'm like scared as all hell. And he's like, well, you know how to get out of a tree. Come on, get out of the tree. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just fall. I didn't even try to project how I was gonna do anything.
Oh my-
Zero math. I was like, off. and just go. And so I fall straight into my knees. Like my body's like half like fetal position, but still going straight down. My feet hit the ground and my knees just go right into my chest. And I just go, and boom! It just collapse. I get the wind knocked out of me. My ears are ringing and I'm just like, can't breathe. Like feel like I'm dying. And everybody's laughing because this little 8-year-old just like I just got
Were you
jacked
making
up.
that horrible sound that you make when you get the wind knocked out of you, where you're trying to breathe?
Yeah. I'm doing the whole thing. And so my dad at this point is rushing over. He's like, it's okay. Just try and breathe through your nose. Just, you'll get your breath back. But like I learned right away that like trees can kick your ass. Like not all trees are orange trees. And I'm glad I learned that at 8 off like a semi-tall tree. Because I've seen videos of people who are climbing like 60 feet up in a pine tree. And I'm like, oh, no, you're dead. Like you can't do that. That's a fucking tree. You just climbed a building with
go
no
up there.
elevator. Yeah, there's not a single health
for
inspector
you.
for that tree. That tree's not up to code, okay?
Yeah, I was
You
gonna say
can't just
that
go-
no tree is approved by OSHA. Like,
Yeah. That's definitely not Geo 95 certified, okay? That's just gonna kill you. And so if you're
Yeah.
like 60 feet up waving like one hand, they're holding on by like a pine needle. And they're like and then wah! You see him fall. It's always like America's Funniest Home Video. And like they're interviewed
Whenever I-
after in a wheelchair and they're like it's great touring America showing everybody me falling from a tree. And like yeah, no, I'm glad I learned that lesson at a young age and I had a healthy, respectable height of like 8 to 10 feet. That was-
Yeah, it's about your max. Whenever I see somebody climbing up like a big ass tree like that, all I can think is just like, that's not for you. That's not for people. Humans shouldn't
not
be
for
doing
you,
that
dude.
shit.
Yeah, if I would have
For-
if I'd have
it's for-
survived
it's
that
for
fall,
birds and squirrels.
dude, yeah, if I'd have survived that fall, I guarantee you I'm one of those vloggers who dies falling off a building. Guaranteed. Like, that was the best thing ever that happened to me. Don't get me wrong, I probably did more drugs because of that incident, but it kept me off the skyscraper shit. I'll take it. It's
Yeah.
a
There
you
net
go.
win. What do you got, Seb? What's the most important thing you've learned from a tree?
I remember once I was working at an outdoor theater that had a bunch of trees everywhere, and I was wearing a like a climbing harness to climb up like the lighting trusses and shit.
Smart. You're the only one of us who actually has gear for
Wow.
this.
Oh, I don't own this. It belongs to the place, but I'd never fucking climb without that thing, except for the times where I definitely for sure did.
Yeah, except for all the times where I was injured before and after.
Yeah, right, where I definitely did. But one time I was there and I was working with like one other person. I was like, all right, like you can go. We're pretty much done here. I'll close up.
Okay.
So it was just me, and I was, it was like a Saturday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still had my climbing gear on. I packed everything up, and I was just like, you know what? I bet I could probably climb that tree and hook into it and just like sit up there, and I'd probably be fine. So I fucking go, and there's this oak tree that's probably like you said, right, like 60 feet tall or something.
Yeah.
And I climbed probably like 20 or 30 feet up it, which is about how tall the lighting trusses there are.
Ooh,
And I just hooked in the harness and I just chilled up there like smoking a cigarette in this tree.
That's
And
dope.
I was sitting up there just like, you know what? This is the real shit right here. This is the real stuff. Like fuck everything else. I'm just gonna. All I want to do in life is just fucking climb
Burn
up
down
trees.
trees.
And
Oh.
just chill.
Okay.
I was. That was the most careful I've ever.
Where do you-
been
where do
with
you
a
ash when you're
cigarette
in an
my
oak tree?
entire life.
Where do you ash?
I was just ashing like into the pack of cigarettes because I didn't
Oh,
want it
okay.
to like I didn't want that.
I feel like
shit
that's not
going
what
in.
actually happened. I feel like that's what you're saying because we all said nice things about trees.
No. No, because this was after the time that I got pulled over for throwing a cigarette butt out the window. So.
Okay,
best
so
believe.
you were already.
And
kind
that
of,
wasn't the best
nervous.
lesson about trees. Don't burn them down. Your very next
Don't
story
burn
is you
them down.
smoking inside of a tree. You learned none of the important lessons.
I didn't burn it down, and I didn't fall either.
Okay, they're not falling is good. Falling while climbing is very scary. There's
It
a
really
never.
is. Even if you're like wearing a harness or whatever too, because like man, that harness just digs in there. It's not fun.
Yeah, I think I've told you guys about the time I almost died doing indoor rock climbing because I'm that big of an idiot. I found a way to like
Oh, nice.
unsafe proof the whole building. I literally like I'm just there trying to climb buildings, and next thing you know, I'm working on a chain hanging from a rafter, and the guy's like, "Why are you on the chain? Don't take the rope out of the chain. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Huh, huh." And like the rope I'm holding, I
Sorry.
let go, and it falls to the ground, and it's the rope that's tied to my waist. And now I'm holding on by a chain, and I'm above the rock wall. I'm on the thing that the rock wall is attached to, holding on by a chain.
Holy shit,
And the
dude.
rope falls to the ground. And right as I'm doing that, literally as he's saying this and I'm dropping the rope, I'm letting go with my other hand so my friend can catch me using the rope that was previously attached to the chain. And I'm like, huh? Oh! And I grab with both hands, and they're just like freaking out. They're like, no! Oh, terrifying. And then my friend gets me after that. I put the rope back in the chain thing, I get it all tied back up, and I'm like doing it petrified now. The reattaching is like the scariest thing in my whole life because I'm like, if this hand lets go, I legitimately die. So I'm just like, trying to get in. It takes me 10 tries to get it in because my hands are shaking so bad. I get it in. Now I forget, I'm not going through like a spindle or anything like that. It's just a rope through a chain. So the slack, and the rope has slack built in, is going to go straight to my friend's hands. He's like, okay, I got you now. And they talk me down. They're like, you're safe. I let go. And then I just instantly fall 10 feet. And my friend just gives me like 10 feet to scare me, to kind of remind me, like, hey, you didn't get out of that safe. You almost just died. So he gives me a little scare. And I just go, and so after I got it up right, I start falling. And I feel the free fall. And I'm like, how did I fuck it up this time? And so I have this last moment where like, I'm an idiot and I'm still dead. And then, egg snap. And my friend's like, it was terrible. So, yeah.
What a
falling
shitty friend.
Yeah, honestly, one of my best friends. And thank God he didn't kill me. I mean, that's a lot of
Yeah.
leverage to hold the best friend card, but whatever it takes, I guess. He's competitive.
Oh,
That's good.
jeez.
Okay, so now that we know what we've learned from trees, let's take the trees perspective. I got, in the spirit of Anthony's ghost, let's talk about a 30-second pitch here. 30-second pitch for a superhero for planet Earth. And I know what you guys are going to say. There already is one. Captain Planet. He
Captain Planet.
does not count. Not a superhero.
Captain Planet.
If anything, I think he's a child sex trafficker because he keeps 5 kids, and every time he shows up, the kids go away. And it's like, what happened with the kids? Like, where are the kids at? And you don't see the kids until he goes away. And then all of a sudden, the kids show up, and they would talk about nothing but Captain Planet the whole time they're up. It's like, if it's not child sex trafficking, it's a child cult for sure. I don't trust him. His powers are bullshit. He fought like guys who owned like landfills. It was like, what? He was like beating up bad like landlords and shit. He's not really a superhero. We got giant tsunamis. We got like huge meteors coming at Earth. We can't have a guy with a mullet. And also, only people who can contact him is like 5 kids, and they all have to have their rings on at the same
yeah.
time.
Isn't that so weird? Like, there's not like a button
Yeah.
in the White House or something.
Yeah.
There's not
No
a
red
fucking
phone.
bat signal.
Nope. There's no Instagram account you can DM. There's no way to contact him. It's just the 5
That's
kids.
these 5 assholes.
I felt like that was
I'll
teaching
remember
us
to
to
bring
work
their
together. You know?
No, it's super Epstein, and it's not good. And we got to get out of that. So we're going to do a fat ass
Hey, man,
pivot on that.
Captain Planet, certified, not Epstein free.
Yeah, certified questionable at best is what
Yeah.
we're going to call it. Also,
Okay.
do you notice he's supposed to be taking care of Gaia, right? That's like his whole job. Taking care of Gaia's like supposed to be like Mother
think.
Earth. It only ever shows him like seeing Gaia like once a week at her place, and she's like, "Hey, can I leave?" And he's like, "Nah, bitch, stay, okay? And don't talk to my other girlfriends, okay? We talked about this. They're just friends." And like he keeps her locked up in the treehouse. He don't treat Gaia right. She never gets a word in edgewise. I think he's a bit of a narcissist. So no, we're pivoting away from that. I want a superhero the Earth can actually use, a good one. So like real superhero, even a team. I'll take anybody.
A team?
Yeah.
The Thundercats.
I thought you were gonna say like the All Blacks because those guys are
Thundercats.
buff. But yeah, Thundercats works. Nope, Thundercats doesn't work.
We can import them from Thundaria, and they can defend the Earth.
We already are running into immigration issues. Step 1, so I don't like that. But the other issue is they're not from our.
Superman's an immigrant.
Superman almost blows up the
True.
planet. The only time there's
He's
peace
also
on
white.
look at the storyline of Superman. Okay, for reals. The only time there's peace on Earth is when he leaves. That's the only time it's cool. And then everybody else spends like 10 years going, "What do we do about Superman?" And then he comes back and they're like, "Fuck, he's back!" Like that's the whole storyline of Superman. Don't bring him back to Earth. Keep him on motherfucking Krypton. Honestly, I wouldn't go back in time and kill Hitler as a baby. I would go back and kill Superman as a baby. I'm just gonna say it.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
As soon as
There's
he
that.
fucking lands in that barn. The Thundercats I don't think will work though because
They're not from our planet.
Like the-
no allegiance.
well that, but also like
They're gonna be setting up like offshore drilling for Thundaria. Like, hey, where are you getting all this oil, Thundercats? Like, oh, no big deal. Don't worry about it. Fighting crime over here.
worry about it.
Like, I ain't seen no crime, bud. But I see a lot more Derricks popping up in Bakersfield. What are you doing, Thundercats? I don't trust that
The
against.
other, the other problem too is I feel like we're gonna run into kind of a branding issue with Chitara. Like, it's gonna be a lot of. I had this conversation.
She can
with a
get
friend,
sued by Disney Channel because they
recently,
made
actually.
Cheetah Girls.
I just feel like we're gonna run into an issue where we're gonna inform a lot of young kids' opinions about sexuality if we have the Thunderdome.
Oh, for real? No, there's gonna be a whole new fetish app
Hey.
that's just tracking Chitara panties. It's gonna be terrible.
Can we?
She's the only
can we
actual
get-
Catwoman. She's gonna dominate YouPorn for like 10 months straight. It's gonna be disgusting.
Can I say my superhero?
It's gonna be
You know what we
yeah.
should do for the
yeah.
live action movie? We should get
Can I
Taylor
say my-
Swift in the bodysuit from Cats.
Can we go to mine now?
Cut to Michaels.
Yeah, please.
Cut to Michaels.
Can we go to mine?
Please.
We established Thundercats isn't feasible for so many reasons.
So this is kind of a hybrid hero, okay? I'm taking something from an
Brilliant.
existing superhero and I'm adding something else to make it the ultimate hero for planet Earth. I'm taking Halle Berry's character from X-Men, Storm. I'm taking her out of X-Men, and the only way that her
Catwoman suit.
so
She's
she
wearing
still
the
can control-
Catwoman suit.
she can still control the elements, right? The weather and stuff like that. But now her main source of fuel is plastic.
Oh.
So she has to
Oh.
consume the plastic somehow, and then she gets power. So, and her name is Plastique.
I feel bad. That's good. That's good, actually.
That's good.
I
That's
feel
good.
bad though that you got Halle Berry working like a 9 to 5 as a trash sorter. That's gotta suck for Halle Berry. Like she gets
I mean,
bad. She gets
dude,
a bad deal.
when Earth gets to going, she's like a storm's coming or something. She's like, nope, and she just keeps it nice for us.
Do I hate
That's her
Plastique?
whole goal.
We got another
She
12
just
tons.
eats all the plastic, and then she keeps the weather nice, dude.
She's like-
That's what we need.
Guys, I'm trying to go to the
Reverse
Bahamas for a week.
climate
They're like,
change.
yeah, but there's like a hole in the ozone. Come on, please, Halle Berry.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
"Guys, I
Garbage
just wanna
Island.
go."
That's your home. Like,
Yeah, she lives in
that's
the
her secret
Pacific
layer is Garbage
Patch.
Island.
What happens if you piss her off?
Oh,
Like
she
all the
kills you with a
plastic in your
gun.
house disappears. Like you're driving your car and all the plastic parts just evaporate. You're just in the metal frame. You're like, oh, you bitch! Yeah, I don't think insurance is gonna cover the plastic melting. You don't want to piss off Halle Berry.
man.
You stand up Halle Berry. Ooh, mama! All your credit cards every time you go to pay, evaporate. You're like you gotta use Apple Pay for
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully, she doesn't turn evil. She would just destroy all the
You're like,
things.
hey,
that
Steve
have
Jobs, can
good
you make an
plastic.
iPhone made entirely of glass? Because Halle Berry is not having it.
Yeah, the iPhone 13 will be certified plastique resistant.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it actually. I think as far as that's what Captain Planet was supposed to be, something like that. But instead, he just did weird mind games on kids, and
Yeah, Halle Berry's way cooler than some blue guy with the green mullet.
yeah. Why wasn't Gaia the superhero? That makes no sense. Gaia controlled Earth and all these powers. If you think about it, actually, let's dig into a little quick deep dive before I do mine. If Gaia was like the planet and she was Earth, and he was like just turning stuff into like trees and stuff like that, that's like he was like doing plastic surgery on Gaia. Like, bitch, you need bigger trees. Bah! Like, I don't like him,
Yeah, I
man.
guess.
He's really
doing, like,
possessive.
enhancement.
Yeah, he's like really interpersonal with like her space and shit. I don't know. He's creepier than I first thought.
I was trying to think of I was thinking of Nip Tuck, but I was trying to think of a better way to say that, like for the Earth. I was like
Yeah.
Earth Tuck. I couldn't think of anything.
It's like, Gaia, you're great. You're great. You just need a little cheering up. Terrible. Oh man. So I would say
Does that mean that Captain Planet's responsible for climate change?
yeah. What if he's the reason for it?
That's what it's called.
He's like, Gaia, you could be hotter, and she's like, okay.
That's just what's happening.
I want to make
Captain
you happy.
Planet's just made Gaia too hot.
All this ice, we could do something about that.
Next thing you know, Greenland disappears because of Gaia's WAP. It's like, no. Yeah, it's not good. Not good.
That's why the fucking Arctic. That's why the ice caps are melting, bro. It's fine.
You see all these soggy ass polar bears? Well, now I know what the fuck is going on.
Okay, you're gonna get wet for me.
Coca-Cola commercials are fucking different. Jesus
Holy
Christ.
shit, dude.
Oh my lord.
And they can't do the polar bear drinking soda anymore. Does it work?
Not Captain Planet. Here's my superhero.
Yeah, what do you got?
30 seconds? Jesus Christ. Save all the planet Earth? Okay. He's called Moneybags Humperdinck, and he's got cash like you would not believe. He's got the black card to beat all black cards. It's that true black where it absorbs all light. If he puts his card up, your debt just goes into it, and he just goes around, and nobody has to worry about debt or money if he's on the planet with his infinite black card. And so
Jeff
anything,
Bezos if he wasn't an asshole.
yeah, it's like Jeff Bezos if his ego wasn't driven by like amounting an amount of sum of money that was the polar opposite of like his dick composition. And like if that was like this guy's focus, and he had this super infinite black card, and he just wah, and everybody had all the funding they needed to fund any venture whatsoever, as long as it benefited the planet. Like think of like a universal infinite cap bank loan for planetary endeavors. That's the superhero.
So he's like good Batman, kind of. But
Yeah,
instead
it's
of
like-
beating people
instead
up,
of
he just uses his money.
Yeah, instead of spending his billions
Okay.
on Muay Thai classes, he just like helps some
Right,
small
in
business
rubber
owners.
suits.
Yeah, like not the Batman we need, the Batman we want and asked for. And yeah,
We just need Bruce Wayne. We don't need Batman.
yeah, he's like, I'm not
Yeah,
the
we
billionaire
need a
they
charitable
wanted.
businessman
I'm the
Bruce
billionaire who's
Wayne. Yeah.
beating their ass. Jesus
doing it right,
Christ!
Bruce.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
Gotham's parks are in such a dire shape. Bruce, what are you doing?
yeah.
Jeez.
Or a guy or a superhero who can just create a new planet and just bring all the people I like there. He's like, hey, we're good. That other one, we're just gonna slowly bump it out of the solar system orbit.
Yeah. We'll just get rid of it.
Everybody
eventually.
thinks a comet is gonna ruin Earth, but Earth is just gonna drift away. And be like, oh, we're the comet. Fuck. And then it'll hit another like alien planet, and they'll be like, we think there's signs of DNA on it. And they're like, nope, it's all trash. Yeah, that's a good superhero too. Let's get into let's get into the last
I think
bit.
this is the most genuinely helpful one.
Yeah, and this one kind of fits in the theme with that last idea too. When it comes to things in your life that are like down on their luck or not operating at maximum capacity, or maybe they're just not working at all, do you repair or do you replace?
Ooh, that's always the
Nice.
question.
Good
isn't
question.
it?
Yeah.
Question. I've heard
I- it-
stereotypical
it-
things. Sorry, go ahead.
Depends. It just depends,
depends.
so much, like how so many factors.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into some specifics and see what you guys think.
Okay.
I think each of these is different, but also related. But it gives you a good idea of your general mindset about the value of things and the permanence of things, and it says a lot. So here's this: do you repair or replace a broken car?
It depends how broken. I've done
Yeah.
both. I try to repair it until I just don't want to fucking look at it anymore.
Yeah, I think the car's value versus like how much the
Yeah.
repair costs is normally what I kind of.
So
But also too, like I had a car that I had to put an alternator in, and I found out that I had a choice between either taking the intake manifold off or taking the front bumper off, and I just got rid of the car.
gotcha.
I wasn't going to fucking do that. Or I could pay
I-
$3,000 for someone else to do it. No way.
Nice.
$3,000 for an alternator. Okay.
Yeah, because you had to take the fucking front bumper off. And no way.
I probably could have saved you $3,000 there, but I learned some important things from your answers. Seb, yours was based on the looks of the car, how it looked to you. And,
I have
Michael's
a
was based on
tolerance.
money. So you're both very shallow people. So that's easy to distinguish right off the
I
bat.
don't no. I don't give a shit what the car looks like. It can look. It can look.
What would you do, Cameron? Would you
I
repair or
always
replace?
repair. I always repair because here's the thing: if I'm going to replace it, I want the trade-in value of the car, and if it's broken, that lowers the trade-in value. And whatever the repair is, it's not something I have to deal with a lot. I just have to learn how to fix it one time and execute it properly once, and then the problem is out of my hair forever, and it ups the replacement value. So,
Yeah.
I would repair. I would usually repair in that scenario.
I
you guys, I
always
noticed,
try to.
do not. You
Well, I
always
mean,
try to, unless you got to take 2 clips off a bumper. Jesus Christ.
I had a
No, that was the
situation
last
where
straw for me because if you knew everything that I had replaced on that car, you wouldn't question why I got rid of it.
Yeah, that's true. There's
you go.
lemons.
See,
There's such
that's
thing as
the-
a lemon.
I was gonna say I had a situation where I bought a truck for very, very cheap, like like $500, and I drove it forever, and then when I moved to California, I went to get the emissions on it,
Oh god.
and the difference between Washington and California and what you're allowed to
Oh,
have on the road
drastic.
is
Spit out of your
extremely
tailpipe.
different. The guy just came out of the shop. The guy just walked out and just went. He didn't even say
Yeah,
anything.
you
He
can
was
roll
just
down
like,
the
"No."
street in a tire fire any other state than California.
So at that moment, I chose to replace, but
Yeah.
I've done my fair share of repairs as well. It's
oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's
Can I tell you a funny time I tried to repair and it didn't work out? I bought a truck.
Oh yeah.
The truck had some damage, been rebuilt a little bit, but it's an older truck. I got it at a good price. But when I turned the AC on, it would go. You get to level 2 AC, it would go. And you get to level 3, and you go. And it did not sound good. And so 4 was so loud, it was crazy, that same noise, but exacerbated. And it would be like deafening through like the speakers, like. So not good. So I drive this truck for 2 years. I just be careful with the AC. Never over 2. Never over 2. And I'm living in the
Yeah,
Central
absolutely
Valley.
not.
It's like 112 routinely where I live, and I'm like, level 2. So people hate going to my vehicle. I end up selling this truck to a friend later. This friend, not a mechanic, mind you, goes, hey, did you ever figure out why the AC was the devil? And I was like, no, I never figured that out. He's like, oh, okay. You know what he did? He pulled out the cabin air filter.
And it was.
Have you ever pulled out a cabin air filter?
Yeah.
I've never
often?
done it myself, but
How often do you pull out a
I-
cabin air filter?
I've done it once each in 2 of the previous cars that I owned.
Yeah. In my current car, I now do it like once a week because of this incident. There was a bird's nest and a squirrel's nest in my AC filter. And so every time I turn the air on, it would just bounce all that shit around.
Or
And
like
so
branches and leaves and shit.
for 2 years, I drove around a car with tons of fresh AC. I would always top off the AC thing, make sure I had tons of Freon, because I only got 2 bars. I had to count. Every fucking bar had to count. And so I'd always, my friend one day just pulls the filter out. Oh, I spent $10 to buy a new filter, and took the fucking live animals out of the air conditioner, and then it worked great. And so I should have charged more for that truck, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why you
It came with
repair,
extras.
then replace. That's my point.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
So yeah. So okay, here's the next one: repair, replace, phone.
replace.
I've been really good about not breaking phones. Like usually I can get probably a solid 3 years out of a phone. But this one, you'll notice, is a little bit fucked up. If for those watching at home or those not watching, my phone screen
no
is
one's
very, very fucked. So, but I've replaced this phone screen now twice. So if I do it again, I'll have spent more money replacing the screen than I did on the phone. So now I'm going to replace it after having repaired it twice.
Huh. Nice. Well, I'll say
Right.
this.
The phone, like they're just harder to fix nowadays. Like they charge you so much more for screens. and shit,
Everything's
I feel
getting
like.
more. The phones are so expensive. That's the thing about replacing too. Phones are so expensive.
Yeah.
Every time I go to buy a phone, I'm just like, oh, I forgot they cost a down payment on a car. I forgot that.
Yeah, it's so
I didn't
crazy.
realize.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? The contracts? There's multiple year contracts
mean-
to get what used to be in every wall of every building ever. And they're like, look how convenient it is to take the wires away. Now you just got to pay us a down payment on a car every couple of years. You know? Oh, don't forget about the monthly fee to use the dang thing. I miss wall phones. Anyways, I like to replace. I've tried to repair one phone myself. And it was
Oh,
not like a
man,
not
It's rough.
it was
Yeah.
not like a car. It wasn't a good phone either.
delicate.
It wasn't a good phone for repairing. It was like some Samsung, one of the early Galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
And dude,
Okay.
literally, here's what you had to do. You had to have a special tool to pry the like semi-plastic like circuit board moving pieces that are welded
yeah.
onto the battery. You had to like de-splice them from the battery. It wasn't like a snap-in battery. So I'm like removing all these components, and then I get to the step where like it's like, okay, pull it off of the heatsink material. And I'm like trying to very lightly pull this battery off of this heatsink material, but the structure holding the like lithium battery together was weak, and the heat compound I think had like some material in it that was like corroding the plastic or whatever around the lithium metal maybe. And so it made a breach in the lithium, and I went to go pull it up, and instead of the heatsink pulling off from the battery, it went and snapped open, and a giant blue-green explosion shot out of the phone, and like melted half of the components in my hand, and I was like, ah! And so I decided, like, I'll fucking replace them next time, dog, because like you only got 2
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah, well,
And I'm lucky I have all 10 digits after that. But
there you go.
the only thing I can do in
Phone
my
batteries
life,
are scary.
yeah, and the only thing I can do in my life that's even like semi, like Hemingway is like to have an iPhone 8 still. So like that's just what I hold on to. It's like my last vestigial of manhood. So yeah, replace eventually, begrudgingly. What about computers? What do you guys do for computers? And before you say anything, I know you're filling yours with lead as we speak, Sebastian, because you try and solder too much. But what do you guys do typically?
I keep the same. I repair it until basically the whole thing has been replaced.
So you're in a constant state of building a new computer at all times.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good space to be in.
And then I've got a laptop too that's like 10-year-old MacBook that
You
is
repair
kind of
your
on its
laptop?
last legs. Yeah, I replaced the hard drive in it. Fucking works great.
Okay.
Nice.
It's so tight and compact. I'm always worried because like I get impatient with things. If things don't fit together
Working
instantly
laptops is
perfect,
really
yeah.
it's rough.
I've seen too
They're
many
hard.
times where like very delicate things are very expensive, and I know that because I paid for them, and I'm like holding them in my hands, and they don't fit in right. And I'm like, okay, and like I just have no problem with that. I get so much satisfaction out of like crushing computer parts. I don't know why. It's like a primal thing. So it's worth it for me to crush a $200 video card. I'll do it. If that freaking PCI slot isn't where it needs to be, I'll make it there. I will make it.
Yeah,
in.
just
So
force it.
I try not to repair a computer too often. It usually turns out bad. Last time I did a system restore, it went to DOS, and I was like, not that far back. No, come back to the Windows
Yeah,
genre.
Congratulations, you
hardware,
are now
I
running
don't-
Windows 98.
When it comes to hardware, I'm not
Please
savvy
install
with
an
that
update.
stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I'll do like a disk cleanup and a defrag and reset and update, but that's about all you get out of me for window repair.
Here's what I hate. The computer world is designed to be as condescending as possible, like to the max. It's designed that way. And here's the example. I remember studying and learning about RAM compared to ROM.
Oh yeah.
The read-only memory and random access memory and the difference. And I learned about RAM, and you put RAM in a computer, and it's amazing. And then now I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get like 12 gigs of RAM. And he's like, yeah, DDR4 or 5.
Like fuck you! I just
you-
figured all this out.
You did not go fucking Latin on me when we were building computers just now. Like, you do not get to do that. I've never
throw
played
even
Dance
more
Dance
numbers?
Revolution. I don't care what version you have. I don't want it. I'm trying to build a computer. And then, like, after you get the DDR memorized, they're like, all right, is it like a 2500 or 3100? It's like, you motherfucker, we already said numbers. We're back to numbers again. There's two sets of numbers? You can't fuck with me. You can't have
Cameron,
number,
wait
acronym,
until
number.
You hear this. Wait until you hear this. There's even more sets of numbers.
Yeah, there's another set of numbers after that. That's what pisses me off. And then they're like, yeah, you got a 3100 quad core, opti core. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker.
That's nice,
Oh.
I guess.
Yeah. And like it's to the point where like everything is like I would get all these nice parts and I'd be like, okay, I got the DDR4, it's a 3100, I'm getting 12 gigs of it, and I got two in the same brand and the same manufacturing batch, so I know they're compatible. And they're like, cool, doesn't fit in your motherboard. And I'm like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna kill you.
Fuck this, I'm buying an Xbox.
Yeah, wrong power supply, but it's gonna melt. Like, I hate you guys so much. So I'm done with computers. It's always replace. This thing right here, I can't. I look forward to when one part starts making a noise. If the disk drive looks at me
shoot it.
wrong, whole thing's going in the trash can, and it knows that because I'm throwing a monitor out there next week. It's like it's like freaking decal for computers in my bin. It's not good. You don't want to be around here. Okay, next thing. After that reference, we've got to jump to the next thing. Este prato. Okay, wallet. Have you ever repaired a wallet, or do you always replace?
Nope. Replace every time.
I've repaired a couple of wallets.
I repair the
With
shit
duct
out of
tape.
a wallet. You use duct
Duct
tape?
taped the
You
wallet
use
before.
duct tape?
Yeah, wallet had like a rip, and I just slapped a little duct tape on there, and it lasted for a while. It lasted for like probably 4 months, where the tape got ripped off somehow, or kind of came off. You know, it lost its stickiness or whatever the fuck, and then
Yep.
just yeah. So I've repaired before.
It's the same friend I had who bought the truck and fixed the AC day one. He had a wallet that he liked, and he started taping pieces that would like tear apart because the wallet was like made of recycled paper. It was like an eco-friendly wallet, and then he replaced it with a duct tape manufactured in like a North Korean mine or something. I don't know, but he started slowly replacing it with more and more duct tape until it became all duct tape. And then he had like I don't know if it's a repair or a replace at that point, but it was all duct tape, and like there was none of the paper left, and it was pretty cool. But I have
That's
a way
like
that
the what do you call it? Jason's ship, where like if you replace every part, is it still the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. He had that complex. Like it didn't matter. It never had money in it. So no. But I had a way of repairing wallets. Like if a flap or something like that starts to get loose, I just stop using it and I start abandoning parts until eventually like all the credit cards and like cash and coins are all just like stuffed into one like little raggedy corner, and I'm basically
Oh,
holding,
where
a-
like the middle part comes out or
yeah,
whatever.
it's like a leather like wrapping. It's not even a wallet anymore. It's like
It's a
less a
bag.
satchel. Yeah, it's like one of those things. Those salve paste they put on an open wound. It's basically that, but like with a lot more cocaine dust on it. Yeah, that's
It's like when you get a sandwich at Subway, it's just wrapped up in the piece of paper. Like, yeah, this is just my money wrapper. This is just where it all goes.
I'm gonna be honest. I think my last 5 wallets have been people giving me wallets because I neither repaired nor replaced mine.
It's a great gift to give somebody, man.
It says a lot when it's that many times in a row, though. I think my wallets like get to the point where they stink like shit or something. Like, there's got to be a reason.
I think they just see you pull it out and they're like, "Oh, we gotta help this guy," you know?
They're like, there's no way he has a 401k. We should just buy him a wallet. Like, that's not good. Okay, so
Maybe if he gets a new wallet, he'll think about taking care of his money.
I like it.
Oh man,
It's really weird. I don't think I've ever, that I can remember, bought somebody a wallet or anything like that. I may have, but I don't remember ever doing that. That's a weird thing. It seems like a deeply personal thing to get somebody.
Yeah,
In hindsight.
I'm so particular about my wallet too. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah, I think we all
want
have
certain features. Like, no one's gonna buy me the right one. Probably.
I'm not a
It's kinda like
trifold guy.
Underwear from strangers. I'm like, oh,
Right.
this is a very
I'm
intimate
just
fitting.
I'm a
looking
simple
for here.
like
yeah.
just open thing. I don't like the trifold. I don't like the flap with the ID. It's fucking get out of here. You're doing too
Some
much.
of the stuff I've liked, some of them have grown on me, and I'll say this: my wallet right now is actually one of my favorites. I shouldn't even be saying this on the air, but fuck it, we can't travel anyways. There's a slot on my wallet. I think you guys have seen it, where I keep a little like pocket like survival tool thing in there, which, as a coincidence, has a little small like knife for cutting like seatbelts and stuff like that. I have traveled with this thing so many times on accident. Just you get traveling, you pack your bags, you think your things in your bags,
You
you
forget
grab
it's in
your
your
keys,
wallet.
your
I've
phone,
done
your
that. I used to have
wallet.
one of those Swiss Army knife little card ones.
Yeah, the belt one too. I've had a belt that had a thing in it built in, like a little survival tool thing in it, which technically has like a screwdriver and some other stuff in it. And it's like you forget about it, and it clears. It's a metal belt. They see it. They go through the scanner. Okay, metal, boom, you're done. You're good to go. Put it back on. You forget. Oh, I got something on me. So this happens with this wallet a lot of times, and I never want to replace this wallet now because I've accidentally successfully smuggled so many times, so much contraband. I mean, there's the thing where I keep the knife, but I haven't shown you guys where I put the kilo of cocaine. It's amazing. It's a really
Or
big
the
wallet.
gun.
Yeah, there's a couple guns in there. I actually take a couple immigrants with me in my wallet. Let's get to the next thing. Have you guys ever repaired a key before?
No, a car key, yes.
You have. Okay.
Like a car key fob, yeah.
Okay, a fob. I was gonna say, I have actually tried to repair keys, like hard keys, before, and I do not recommend that. I would say always replace. Have you guys ever broken a key in a door?
I bent a
Yes.
key once.
Yeah. That's what I'm
I
talking about. I've
busted a
actually
key off in a car door once.
Oh, car's a bad one. Car's a bad one. Did you have like a magnet
I
to get it
didn't.
out or something, or what'd you use? How'd you get it?
Luckily, it was busted off right at the where the key like little handle is.
And you could
So
just
there
barely
was
get it
just
out.
a tiny little bit. So I got some needle nose, and I
Oh,
just
that's
like,
a nervous pinch. That first little
I
bit
got
of
on like
pressure.
my hand. I got on my knees, and then just kind of did this, and was
That
pressing, like just squeezing the key, and was like, and it came out, and I was like, oh, thank you.
The
But
first
yeah,
little
it's
bit of
happened
pressure
before.
when you first touch the metal to the metal. You're like, don't go in, don't go in.
It's so
don't go in.
fucked because you go to put your key in your door, and it goes tink, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, and you just have your nub. You're like,
It's fucking
"The
metal.
fuck?" Like,
How did metal?
Yeah.
For a second though, you're like you
also
do that for a
lost my
split
keys.
second. You get that flex going. You're like, yes.
I lost my keys at a Seahawks game, and I had to drive. It was when I was in college, so I drove like 2 hours to go to the Seahawks game with my uncle. We get back to his house, and I realized I don't know why I brought my keys to the fucking game because I didn't drive, but I left them there. They fell out of my pocket or something. Cool story though. My uncle calls a lost and found for like a long time, and actually ends up getting my keys back because they had
What
a
are
keychain that was my
the
dad's. Yeah,
odds?
and he gave it to me, and I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
dude, yeah. But I had to spend like $300 on somebody to come out and make a key for my car so I could drive home to go back to school in the middle of the night. It was so horrible. So yeah, fucking replace keys, but man, it sucks to do that too.
I've never had someone. Actually, I take it back. One time I've had someone make a key replacement, but it was the craziest coincidence. I locked my keys in my car at a breakfast diner. I'd taken my mom out to breakfast, and I couldn't believe it. I was just embarrassed as all heck. I was like, I left my keys in my goddamn car, and like couldn't get the door open. There was something about it. In the breakfast diner is a family friend we know who's a locksmith. Like, so I just look out the window. I'm like, I know you're eating, but and he came right out. He's like, oh yeah, I'll make you a couple spares. And he was right then like, zzz, got the door open and then made me a spare so I'd have a hide key. He's like, there you go.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, that was like the coolest hookup. But after that, I got paranoid.
Lucky.
And I saw one time my brother tried to unlock a door in his car, and as he's trying to fish something out, we hear clink, 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 and we're like, oh, you got it, pull, pull, pull. And he's like, yeah, clink, and then you hear clink, 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 clink. Like definitely not a door unlocking. And we're like, what the fuck? And then he opens the door, and it's still locked. But he opens the door, and it opens up. And he's like, what the heck? And all hope of a door mechanism was gone. He now had a flap. He had a metal flap on his car because he pulled the wrong thing somewhere. It was
my
funny as
God.
shit. Yeah, so replace your keys. Don't ever try and repair a key unless it's a
Yeah,
fob key.
won't work out.
Okay, so there's something that breaks sometimes that you really, it's a little bit harder to work around. Do you repair or replace your pets?
Try to repair, I guess.
Yeah, you guess? That's a very lukewarm answer. Let's hope Mother Nature's superhero doesn't show up on your ass.
I mean, I guess you
repair
try
your
to
pet.
repair until you repair until you got to replace. I guess. I don't
You
know.
repair, then you replace. You can't repair
I think
forever.
that honestly,
Can't
the
repair
pet
forever.
answer for me is the
Until there
same
are no
answer that I
more
had for
repairs.
cars.
Yeah.
You replace it, and then you always look at the cost of the pet and then the cost of the repair, and you got to take some.
It's just
feel
like
like
a
you
car. It's just like a car.
It's kind of like a car, I think.
It's not for me. It's not for
That's
me. Here's the
horrible
reason why.
to say that, but that's how I think
Because
it is.
what happens if you get like a $5,000 dog as a gift? Like literally no medical bill is worth it at that point. Like my dog needs
But it's-
vaccinations. Like, well, we're gonna have to just put it down then, because I didn't realize it was gonna be this expensive. So like this
But
is
if you
a
didn't pay the
purebred
$5,000,
cane
If you
Corso.
didn't pay the $5,000 initially, then I think you're okay to spend that money, right?
Oh, that's true. Now you have that floating room. So okay.
Yeah.
So you got to look at the blue book of the dog. It's not just what you paid. You got to check the
Yep.
blue book. You got to go to
Yeah, resale
Edmunds.
value.
You want to know the
Yeah.
current market value of
You got
your
to do
dog.
cost-benefit analysis, okay? You got to really think about this.
How many miles has it got on this dog? What year is this dog?
Hey man,
This
you
is
know,
horrible.
maybe
Oh
it's
my God.
maybe it's a rare model and it's actually gone up in value.
We're narrowing it down by dog too. I just want to say this: some animals I don't think you have to repair. For instance, a parrot or a turtle, that's going to outlive you. That should technically be repairing you. So I feel no consequence about taking care of those animals. That's twice I've said something outrageous, and then says Mike goes,
I don't know what the.
both times it was something outrageous and not funny though, so it was an appropriate response either way. We gotta tip your freaking mic stand for some good feedback.
good.
So yeah, probably repair your pet. Take a good
You,
chance.
yeah, you,
I think
you-
it's worth
you
it to
gotta-
repair a pet.
You gotta try to.
Honestly, I've had some things where like a friend spent like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a pet, and I was like,
See, that's what I was kind of
Yeah.
getting at. Is like
that's the hard part. That's where people are like, okay,
just
you could've
depends on
helped
who
a
you
person.
are. Depends on if you're gonna
Yeah, you could have helped
it's
a
that
person with
pet.
that money, and I'm like, yeah, but
I mean,
animals are
technically, the
people
pet to them
too.
is a person. If they're spending that much money, it is like another. It's like
Entity.
their fucking brother or whatever.
Oh, dude, for sure. Like my pets are definitely like children in my family because I don't actually have kids. My pets get such good treatment, and if anything was wrong with them, it's like, yep, sign the check, okay.
Yep.
So I get it, but the hard part for me is if you lose a pet, the idea of like replacing that is just rough on me. So I don't want to repair or replace. I think I'm gonna go with my wallet policy. Just let them do what they're gonna do, tortoise or
Nice.
parrot. Let them outlive you. Then you don't have to worry about either of those conversations. You can just bypass the whole thing. Get a tree as a pet. If you can have a pet rock, you can definitely have a pet tree. And we
There
already
you
talked
go.
about all the things you can learn from trees. I think the pet answer is just get a tree. Okay, so how about this? Sentences. You ever botch a sentence so bad you were like, I need to repair or replace this sentence?
Normally, just replace the sentence.
You replace
Yeah.
it. I feel like the replace isn't quite effective as a replace because people tend to remember the original one more. They're like, oh, okay. Wow, you really fucked up. like they hear the second one, they're like, oh, so you're really fucking up here. So I repair it. I'll be like,
It was
I
that.
I want to give you a good example, but it's impossible for me to do because like I mentally block out all the times I do this in my mind. It's like it's I don't know. I can't think of a proper synonym for that type of thing besides a very dark graphic one, so I'll just avoid it. But I mentally block it out when I do this. But I usually try and repair. If I say the wrong word, I'll just lean into that word a lot. But yeah, I went down to and I'll be like, Opera House? What's the name for the? And they're like, Opera House. I'm like, no, not but the building that's like yeah, no, I went to the Opera House. I went to the Opera House. I know a lot of people at the Opera House. They're like, did you mean like an amphitheater? I'm like, no, I'm
No,
in the Opera now.
House.
I'm in the Opera now. Like, I'll just go.
Exactly what I meant.
I'll change the whole conversation. He's like, because we were talking about our favorite outdoor venues. It's like, no, I'm in the Opera now, and it's my life. So I usually try and repair. I'm not good at replacing, and when I double back, I always make it worse. Whatever word I was trying to avoid, I'll say that word 2 times more than I did in the original sentence. Okay, how about this one? And this I think is going to be a tell of everyone's age. Repair or replace food that's gone bad, like a food item that either cooked didn't come out right or something in the fridge that's bad or whatever. How you want to look at it, but what do you do with food?
I try to salvage it in some way.
Oh yeah,
I think it's the case-by-case
I always try
basis.
to make
Yeah.
use of what I've got there.
I have
It's
eaten
case by
some,
case, but normally I would replace it.
dude. I eat some burnt ass shit if it's the shit I made. If someone else gave me food and it's not good, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just get something later. If I make food, I have to consume it now, because I can't deal with the guilt of spending money on ingredients to make food so I can save money, and then destroying the food with my incompetence and thus needing to spend more money, thus ruining the whole goal of everything. It's like admitting you're in Scientology. Like, I refuse. Okay, I will eat this burnt ass food no matter how burnt it is. I don't care if it's poison. The only thing I've not eaten is April tried to feed me like 9-month-old tuna one time, and she knows I love tuna, and we had taken this tuna out of the freezer a couple times and thawed it to cook, and then forgotten to cook it, and so put it back in the fridge. But then the next day not cooked it either, so put it back in the freezer. So it was like freeze,
no.
thawed too long, frozen again, shouldn't have been frozen again, thawed again, and this
No.
happened multiple times. And finally one day
Oh,
she cuts it up into
no.
sashimi, and she makes a bunch of fresh wasabi from the powder she does from scratch. She gets this nice little spread put up, and she puts it down on the table in front of me. And it's this beautiful table with all these lovely hors d'oeuvres, and it's all arranged immaculately, and everything's cut perfect symmetry. It's amazing, it's glorious. But all the fucking tuna is gray. And I'm like, I'm looking at her, and I'm seeing all the work she put in, and I'm looking at this death tuna, which you can't consume. Like, I could see from a mile away. It was going to blow me up the second I got one bite of it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not hungry, baby. And I just like roll over on my side, and immediately she hears from my stomach, because my stomach was just going crazy. I was super hungry. I had seen her working
Yeah.
on the tuna for a long time. I didn't see how gray it was. And then she's like, it's good. And she keeps on trying to get me to eat it. She's like, you'll enjoy it. I worked hard on it. And I was like, oh, I'm not hungry, though. It's okay. I'm just not hungry. She didn't eat it either. She didn't trust. I have a feeling this was her like Lorena Bobbitt scenario, and like she was like right about to pull the trigger and kill me with some poisoned tuna at the last minute. I saw what was going on, and she hesitated, and we haven't talked about it since. But she fed it to the dog, and the dog almost died. We almost had to replace him that night. So fucking
Dang.
some food
And
you
with
can't repair.
that-
Yeah, I'm with Michael. Some food you can't repair. Sometimes you got to replace that shit, or else you will die.
Yeah.
With drinks though, I'll take it all back though. With drinks, always repair. I've never had a drink that I messed up so bad that I couldn't put more of something else in it to make it better.
Right, you can always balance it
Yeah.
back out, and
Oh,
be,
yeah.
and you're good.
Oh yeah, whatever you do, you can take a drink and have like way too many shots or way too much mixer, or you put pineapple juice in it. It doesn't matter what it is. You just take that and get a cup that's twice as big, pour it into that, and fill up the rest of the way with Red Bull. Fixed. Like, there's no
There you
way to
go.
ruin a drink. You just need a bigger cup. That's all you need every time. A bigger cup to dilute. What's the worst drink you ever had to repair? Have you ever mixed a doozy of one that like just knocked you out as soon as you smelled it?
One time I was trying to make a White Russian, and
Hmm.
I just went like a little too hard on the vodka at first. And I was like, oh, I gotta balance this out.
It's
And
like
by the
gasoline
end-
milk.
I fucking love White Russians, man. Don't even come at me. But
No,
by
no,
the end,
you
I
put
had
too
a
much, yeah.
I had a cup that was like this tall because I kept like putting in too much to compensate.
dilute.
And by the end, I had like a perfectly mixed White Russian, but it
Yeah.
was like
was a
I
super
had to
double big
I had to
gulp.
It was now
transfer it into
huge,
a bigger
yeah.
cup like 3 times.
Yeah. That's the danger of that. You keep going pretty much. You're like, oh, if I drink this whole thing, it's going to be all that I do today.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, I had a friend who got me on gin and tonics, and like love gin and tonics. He got me hooked on them, and he would say like the secret is like tons of lime. and he would take like 3 whole limes. He would squeeze 2 from the halves, like directly in over the gin right away, over the ice, over everything, and just do tons of fresh squeezed and like tons and tons of lime juice. And I was like, dang, that's good. And so I got obsessed with this. And the spritzing is what I really noticed makes a difference. Like spritzing the lime juice over the ice before you pouring the alcohol in, spritzing the lime juice again, and then pouring the tonic water. And so I got so used to this. I made one time, and I got to where I could pour a lot of gin in these because they were so sweet and so delicious. I filled one up like 9/10 of the way with gin, and started just squeezing more lime juice on top and just squeezing. I'm like, I need a lot of lime juice. This is gonna be a lot of gin. I made a gin and lime, and I went to go drink it, and it was just like, and the lime hits you, and it's like sour face. And while you're sour, you can't tell, but the gin is just shotgunning down. It's like boofing your face. You turn your face into a butthole with lime juice. It's not good. And like I learned like that you need some tonic water. There has to be some measure of tonic water.
You do need it. It's neutral.
Yeah, I actually prefer them without any lime. That's why I'm just.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh,
I'm
the lime juice
interested
makes
to
it
see what
good,
that
but
tastes
you
like.
gotta have some measure of tonic water. The gin and lime is
the
freaking.
neutral.
Oh my gosh,
Hot, cold, and neutral, man. It's just like electricity.
it's like a liquid version of a vape. It's like all you've tasted is like battery. It's like ah.
Nice.
Okay, so I think we're down to the last 2. We got 2 easy ones. These would be easy. These are simple, everyday things everybody encounters. Repair or replace 3D printer.
Repair, obviously, if I have a fucking 3D printer already.
Obviously,
What
I'm gonna
did
say
what did
replace if I have the
fucking
money
it
to
for?
buy a 3D printer. I have the money to buy another 3D printer, so
Also
replace.
true.
it's more of just like a flex move. Yeah, honestly, I have a 3D printer and it's been broken for 3 years, and I've done neither. So I can safely
I
say
feel like
on
that
this.
speaks more to like how useful 3D printers actually are for most people, which is like not very.
Well, everybody's like 3D printers are great because once you get it, you can just print parts for your 3D printer.
For
And
your
it's like, cool.
AR-15.
Cool. So I start.
Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't get to that level. That's on the more advanced forums. That was page 5 of the tutorial. I didn't get there,
I
but
wasn't
like
gonna
I was.
just click on that page.
Yeah,
End
I was
up
like
on a
printing
watch list.
extruders. I was like printing like extruder mounts and like fan mounts and stuff like that. I was doing little stuff, but the thing that fucking broke was a wire. And like of all the things, the thing you can't print with a 3D printer is a wire.
The one thing you cannot.
Yeah, the
make
simplest
work.
fucking thing ever of anything that's ever been built. And so I have a 3D printer that needs a wire. So I've done neither. Okay, last one. Dishes. Would you guys repair or replace dishes?
Replace, of course.
Replace. If there's a
Never
chip
say
replace
that.
a dish
You
Gets
say
in
that's
the way.
so common sense, like it's the obvious course of action.
because it is.
Okay, let me ask you
Why would
this.
you repair a dish?
Let me ask you this. How often do you go dish shopping? Be honest. In a year, how many times?
I
would you
don't
say?
really. Yeah, I don't really go dish shopping, man.
You don't. Okay. How many times do you break a dish throughout a year if you had to average it out?
I mean, I don't really kind of use like, I kind of just eat stuff with my hands a lot. I don't really use dishes a whole lot.
What the fuck?
I mean, I use bowls. I guess I use bowls. I don't really use plates because I don't.
I didn't realize I was talking to a
and,
caveman. You got to have dishes in your life for this to
Yeah,
matter.
I don't really
I
use
should have added
plates.
that.
Like silverware and bowls and cups is all I really. I don't. Yeah, plate.
You've never
I don't-
broken a dish in the last year?
Mm-mm.
Really? Dang, I'm clumsy.
No.
I break hella
I
dishes.
feel like it's case by case. Like with if there's like a cup, you know, with a chip or something in it. Like, yeah, if I still drink out of it, it's cool. I'll
Yeah.
keep it around or like
Well-
try to round it off or whatever. But
most
if
people
it,
buy
like,
dishes.
Shatters. I'm done.
Yeah, and most people buy dishes in sets. They'll buy like
Yeah,
4
exactly.
plates, 4 small plates, and some silverware or whatever, or cups, like
Mm-hmm.
8 cups, like a matching set.
Oh, I always get the 80-cent giant cup that you find at the grocery store. Those are my favorite cups. I have like 6 of them. They're just huge plastic cups. I love those cups.
It's like
Any
technically
other cup, I
a
don't know why you
carafe
need
for
any other cup.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You use it as a water cup.
Oh yeah, I have it. I have one. I'm just like I always have a water cup kind of floating
Yeah.
around the house every
Yeah.
day, and that's just normally one of those big plastic cups. I just keep refilling it. And
Yep. So
Yeah,
here's my
that's
thing
pretty
though.
much
Like
it.
I break dishes every once in a while, and I never go and buy the big sets except for like once every 5 years. So like there's this weird like bell curve of like have dishes, don't have dishes, because I just like eventually break through too many of them. And once it gets down to like there's only 2 cups in rotation, then I'm like, well, this isn't right. I can't even have guests. So then I go out and buy cups. But it's like last ditch replace. I prefer to just have less dishes. Every time one breaks, I'm like, I'm never gonna wash that one again. It's like a good thing. It gets 0 more
I
seconds
always-
of my life. Yeah.
Whenever one breaks, I'm always like, I guess I didn't really need it that bad.
Yeah. That's
'Cause
why
then
I
you
like.
just wash the ones you got, and you're good.
Okay, so here's the takeaway before we get into our takeaways from that specific bit. Who thinks they did more repair than replace?
Oh God, you were keeping score.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was like 50-50 or so.
Yeah, not
I
even
might have
close.
been I might have been more towards replace.
Yep.
I was basically all replace, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep this in mind because we're going to psychoanalyze this shit now. If we're more inclined to replace things, how likely are we to be acting in the best interests of the ecosystem when it comes to our commercial use of like resources and objects and items?
think we
Not
have to
very.
do-
I'll
very
freely admit that. I don't live a very sustainable lifestyle.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say none of us do. Yeah. So, if we get that guy with that infinite black card,
Uh-huh. Captain Planet 2. We should
I could
call
re-
him.
it'd be so much easier to replace stuff.
See,
but
there you go.
it'd also be so much easier to buy trees. Hey, so I mean that'd be cool. So there's always a way out, is what I'm trying to say. Like, don't worry about your problems; it's gonna be okay. Like, credit scores usually go up over a person's lifetime.
Damn straight.
Yeah, just because Infinite Blackguard guy isn't here doesn't mean we're not all a little bit part of that Infinite Blackguard guy. Like, honestly, I'd like to think that there is a Captain Planet, and like all of us combined are that Infinite Blackguard, and we build up the total GDP of the world as the citizens of the world, because animals outside of humans hold very little equity when you look at most markets internationally. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't. I don't have anything for that one. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
No one has anything for that one. That one is a
I've-
game stopper.
I have no joke for that one. And
What are
with
you guys-
that,
Yeah, what are you guys' takeaways?
that
Yeah.
bombshell.
My takeaway today is that talked a lot about nature, environment, and Earth, yeah, I feel like we all of us here at Cowboy Rowdy, we appreciate it and value it and enjoy it and want it to prosper and continue. So, Plastique was the best superhero by far, because Halle Berry and plastic. So
What happens when she dies,
that's
though?
my takeaway. Dude, she lives off plastic, bro. Do you think that's going away? I don't think so.
Oh, wait, she's eating this plastic? Is she paying taxes on
She
it?
that's her source of energy.
Okay,
That's
I'm
how
just
she-
saying. She's making all this stuff, and we're seeing none of it. Anyways.
She's saving the earth, bro. I don't know.
Plastique was pretty dope. Of all the superheroes we talked about, besides Chitara, she's the one I'm most likely to sleep with.
Second place.
Coming in second to Chitara ain't bad, okay?
I would
And, of
sleep
course, this
with
is all
the guy
third
with the
under-
card if he took away all
under-
my debt. With
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm going to take the real Catwoman over the fake Catwoman, okay? For crying out loud.
Damn straight.
You got to take away, Sam?
Yeah, I really don't live a very sustainable lifestyle. I'm just like looking around my bedroom now since you mentioned that. Like, I think most of this shit is not recyclable at all.
Oh, dude. Like, I have my light bulbs covered in tinfoil. That's just a waste. Why is that there? That light's not even on. The light that's wrapped in tinfoil isn't even the one that's on. I'm just wasting resources. So, yeah, I'm with you. That guitar, I don't think that's eco-friendly. Probably made of plastic. I got 4 plastic buckets doing the job of 1 plastic bucket. What is that? I am the most wasteful person in this video by far. This came from Indonesia. You know how much wasted travel that was? I could have just kept it there. I could have bought fabric here. Nothing in my room is sustainable. That's my takeaway. I gotta burn this shit down. My printer runs on coal. This is not good. Yeah, my takeaway is I'm gonna stop trying to replace so much. Start trying to repair more, not for the practical benefit to me, but for the practical benefit to the world around me.
There you
That's
go.
that's gonna be my personal takeaway.
Gotta have your heart in the right place.
Yeah, man. And after that, I'm going Starbucks.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Bring
Peace
a reusable
out.
straw, motherfucker.
Yeah, reusable plastic straw that I reusably throw away every time I pull another one out of the reusable container. Yeah.
peace out.
Well, stay hydrated.
Mucho, take it easy, baby girls. Check me out on Instagram at cambeasy.berry and YouTube at CB Comedy.
I'm on Instagram, Seinfeld, SIGHN Feld, and also Fuckerberg.
Young Baphomet _ on Instagram and the fucking Twitter machine.
And I'm at _M Booth on Twitter and Instagram, and then Facebook, YouTube, Michael Booth.
And don't forget to check out the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast on Instagram and also the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast on Facebook.